So you've spoken a lot previously about your faith. How has that played a role both inside and outside the ring?
Yeah, I think believing in a higher power, having that structure in your life where, if you do sin or do something wrong, someone's watching over you. I think it steered me in the right path. It makes me want to do right by people, right by myself, and right by God. When you do that, you're going to be an all round better person. So for me, faith's a big part of my life now.
How would you say in terms of like boxing specifically
Yeah.
as well?
In boxing specifically, I think it's great as well because I feel like he's watching over me. He's gonna make sure I come home safe. You can never always ask for the victory, but I feel like he'd push it towards my side too. And I just feel like when he's there, you shouldn't fear anybody. He's gone through a lot worse than I've had to go through. So for me, just having that extra person help you along the way, it helps you out.
So we spoke a lot about your amateur career the other day. You think your purpose has changed since you started boxing as a young amateur, or stayed the same? How do you think it's developed?
Well, that's a good question. I say the purpose is definitely still the same, but it gets more bigger if that makes sense. It gets more realer. You start realizing that it can actually happen. You can achieve those things. So the purpose and goals remain the same, but it's become a lot more realer.
What's something a casual boxing fan who maybe seen a highlight reel of you on Instagram, what's something they might not know, something maybe they assume incorrectly about your boxing?
Um, I'd say as a person, they always say it's disrespectful, flamboyant, I'm belittling the opponent. But people who really know, it's just a style. And secondly, me as a person, I'm completely different from that. I'm respectful. I respect my opponent, but when we're in there, you've got a job to do. And a lot of people always get that misconstrued, but you can't please everybody.
You talk about that style, and often it can appear flashy, flamboyant, as you said. But, true boxing fans know the strong fundamentals behind that, as well as that slick and flashy style. I wanted to ask you, how do you balance, these almost instinctual, high-level reactive flashy moves with also the, calculated game plan and strategy that you implement?
I think that's just always going to be in me, and I think that's what makes me different and special.
Yeah.
I said the other day with Andy when I was at Sky Sports, if you look at the light heavyweight division, nobody can really has my feet, my speed, my reflexes. So we never want to change that. We just want to neaten it up. And when I can switch on and when I do my basics, I'm great at that as well. I didn't just, like I always say, I didn't hop on one leg and spin around and get an Olympic silver medal. I switched on, I was an elite boxer, and I did the A, B's and C's of boxing, so I can do that as well, which is good. So I've got a good mix and match really.
Definitely, and on the A's, B's and C's of boxing, you've got a tremendous coach with such fundamentals, high-level fundamentals in Andy Lee. I mean, myself and Suleiman have seen it just over the 2 days we've been with you. But speak to us more about the insights that you've got from Andy Lee.
Yeah, he's great. At the end of the day, he's been there and done it. He was ex-world champion himself, so that in itself speaks volumes. You want to listen just because of that. But not only that, he's had the tutelage of the Kronk Boxing Gym, which is a massive heritage in the boxing game. And then lastly, he's the way he delivers it, the way he's calm, the way he treats all his fighters like they're his sons, and that relationship as a coach is needed, and he gets the results done. And he's one of those people you don't want to let down, so you perform that little extra bit better.
So you mentioned as well that you've been boxing since the age of 10.
Yeah.
How important is it for you and just boxers in general to give back to the next generation of boxers that are coming up now?
I think it's major, especially in my area, like Warsaw, Wolverhampton, West Brom, Darlaston. It's always London boxers that get the homage, or Liverpool or Manchester. It's never my area, and we have some really good talent there. So I think me firstly bringing Olympic medal back, and then I don't want to be me, but I'm slowly opening up that door. I'm headlining in the city, things like that. It shows other kids that it's possible for us to do it too, and that's what it's about.
Goes on to my next question, which is what does building a legacy mean to you, not just in terms of your boxing, but your community, where you come from, who you are, and what you represent?
Yeah, I'd say my mindset's changed now and again sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, it's a bit selfish. I want to be world champion, this, that, but sometimes leaving a legacy behind is the best thing. You want to leave your name. You want to change something in your area. You want to, like I said, open up the door for people where it's a bit more accessible. It might be cheaper, it might be easier for them, there might be more options. So for me, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind, hopefully, more Olympic medalists, more professional boxers, and things like that.
Okay. Have you considered or have currently set up any like initiatives, whether boxing related, outside the sport, or to impact your community?
Yeah, I've actually got my own company. I'm going to start looking after fighters and hopefully start my own charity as well where we can start giving back, even if it's little things like kit, boxing gloves, boots, things like that helps out because they do cost a lot. So for me, I'm in the process of that, but focus on this fight, then we can do it properly.
Yeah. So, who were some of the role models who helped shape your career, and how do you aim to be that figure for other fighters?
Yeah, so role models, I'd say role model or someone I've always looked up to or something like that is my dad. He's the one that got me into the sport. He's tough at times, but I needed that toughness because around my area, you can definitely go down the wrong path. So when I look back as a kid, I was like, why is he always saying I can't do this or go out and hang around with them? But sadly, those same people that I could have hanged around with, they're doing things they don't want to be doing now. They're working jobs they don't want to be doing now. Where I'm doing a job that I love. So sometimes you have to look back and just listen to your parents because they got the best interest for you. And yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming fight. So, with it being a rematch, does that change your approach to a camp? Like, is there different like kind of psychological factors given that you've been in the ring with Liam Cameron before?
Not really, because like I said before, I've had rematches in the amateurs. I've had like fought somebody 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Even sparring, you'll spar the same kid week in, week out. I think if you start making it bigger than it needs to be, that's when it will become a problem. But if you go in there and treat it like another fight, which it will be, you'll go in there kind of normal. I think that's the best mindset to have.
Amazing. And how has camp been so far? A couple of weeks out?
Yeah, it's been great. I'm out in Ireland, cutting the distractions out. I'm doing the right things now, as you can see. I'm getting massages, looking after my recovery. It's all those little things. In the gym, I'm a professional, but sometimes I let it slip outside. So this camp, I've really changed my mindset to look after my body, to eat the right things, go to bed at the right time. All of that becomes part of the athlete lifestyle as well.
Yeah, would you say that's like part of the difference? I mean, you've always been boxing at an elite level, but these little details in the program, you think that's helping to level up?
100%. I think you hear it all the time, maybe listening to podcasts or other athletes to do all those things, but sometimes you're like, they're probably just lying for the podcast. But since I've been doing that routine, I feel a lot better. I've got more energy. Everything's just better. I'm looking after my body more. There's no silly niggles and injuries, so I'm in a great position.
What do you think, in your opinion, separates the elite fighters and the great fighters from the ones that are just like good or decent?
Yeah, I'd say discipline, routine, being able to listen, not thinking you know it all. The things I'm doing now as well with recovery, looking after your body, and not listening to the outside noise. Stop trying to. Nowadays, it's all social media. It's a lot of people are Instagram boxers and they're trying to get their image that way. But you've got to do the work as well. Make sure you really are doing the work, not just the reels. Make sure you are getting up early, training. You're listening to your coach. You're eating the right foods. All of that stuff that when nobody's watching, that's when it really shows off in fight night.
You always come across as confident, but are there any areas in your game, physically or mentally, that you're still working on?
I think everybody's always got something to work on, or mentally, physically. But Because if you haven't got that, you're either complacent or you fluid me over. In my opinion, you fluid me over. So for me, there's always something to work on, and I think knowing that's the best thing. If you're deluded and think you're the finished article, that's when you come unstuck. So I know what I need to work on. I know I need to get better on, but I just won't give them gems away yet.
Do you have any routines or habits outside training that contribute towards your growth as an athlete and as a person?
Not anymore. I've tried to break those habits. That's the silly things like lucky socks and all that rubbish.
Okay.
But for me, as long as I've done the preparation, I've worked hard, and like I said, fight week, I've got my close knit friends and family around. That's all the routine and rituals or whatever you want to call it I need.
So in terms of moments where you have self-doubt or challenge, everyone has them, what kind of like keeps you going?
That's a good question. I'd say definitely now faith. Back in the day, I always had like self-doubt or I wouldn't believe in myself or I'd worry. But that's where God comes in, you know. You leave it all to Him. You cry it all to Him in your prayer. And that's what I've been doing recently. I feel like when I open up to Him, I'm super confident, you know. Back in the days, oh, will I, should I, would I? All that's just doubt coming from the devil, really. So I'm in a good position where when I speak to Him and just open up, my conscience is clear and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot because, you know, you kind of accepted what's going to happen.
Exactly,
good or bad.
exactly.
So
At the end of the day, as long as you put 100% in your training, your preparation, you've done everything you can do.
Of course, yeah. What sort of preparation do you like to do mentally before fights to get you in the zone? Is there a specific routine you follow, or maybe a song that always gets you locked in?
I always definitely listen to music like Backstreet Boys or whatever they're called, Blackstreet, Jesus is Real, stuff like that. I like a routine with the music, but just stay calm, stay around your friends and family. The good thing is I've been fighting since I was 10 now, so the routine is just pretty much the same. Go in there and do the job.
Now, look, we spoke a little bit about anime. In terms of your boxing itself, not your personality, more your boxing and what you do in the ring.
Yeah.
If you had to compare yourself to one anime character, who would it be? And why?
Oh, I like that question. Let me come up. I'd say Zorro. Zorro for One Piece. I like. No matter where he's come from, he always wants to get better. He works hard. He pushes the boundaries, and he's not afraid to die in there as well. That's the mindset you need to have as a boxer.
Use music as a tool for motivation, or what music do you listen to when you're in the gym or on your ones training?
Yes, that's a good one as well. Yeah, so yesterday I actually sparred with no music, and you need that as well because when you fight, there's no music. But I'm definitely a person, if there's music there, I'm pushing a little bit harder. It gets you in certain rhythms, certain moods, certain lyrics, kind of spur you on as well. So music's a big part of me. And it varies really. I won't sit here and say I listen to rock and roll and stuff, but hip hop, R&B, some gospel music, those are the three genres really.
Top 3 words to describe who Ben Whittaker is and why.
Ooh. I used to say Triple F, fresh, flying, flashy, but we're gonna try and change that now. I'd say honourable, loyal, and hard-working. Honourable because I've got honour, you know. It's in all walks of life. I'm honourable. I'm loyal because no matter what someone's done to me, I always try and help them out. I always think if I was in that situation, I would have liked to be in that situation, so I'll try and help them out. And hard-working, I've been hard-working since a kid, you know. I always try and leave no stone unturned. And even in this camp, Andy Lee sometimes says, you need to slow down a little bit. And I think it's a good trait to have. If you shouldn't need to be told to work hard. You either work hard or don't be in the sport, because it's a really dangerous sport. And that's what I do.
Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you giving us the time to do this interview.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.